Well, here we are, everyone. How's it going? I am Gary, or the Shape One here, and welcome back to another video, another Shape Nostalgia video. Now, I'm going to make a video I was thinking about making for a while now. Ever since I went on my vacation back in January, I've been wanting to do this video ever since I saw the atrocious change that has befallen on what was once a classic channel, and that would be Boomerang. Now, Boomerang at first was a block on Cartoon Network before eventually becoming its own sister channel, 2000. And Boomerang this year has gone through a serious rebrand, and now it's a completely different channel. Even before the rebrand, it was already having problems. So now, might as well talk about that. The biggest mistakes and problems of Boomerang. Really, it only has one major problem. But that major problem is basically a tree that branches out into multiple other problems. That one problem has now brought upon a whole slew of problems. And that problem is the rebranding. The rebranding is terrible, and it brings about every problem I'm going to talk about. So let's jump right into it. The biggest problems of Boomerang. Problem 2 being replacing the old narrator. What was wrong with him? The old narrator didn't have an annoying voice. He sounded like someone who could try for Mr. Rogers and get the part. He sounded like that friendly man from the neighborhood who was always good with the kids. He could always help the kids' parents with whatever problems they had. He sounded like he was that kind of person. While this new little kid just is annoying to listen to. It just sounds like someone is scratching a school planner or scratching a chalkboard with nails. He just sounds that bad. Moving on. First off is changing the logo. What was wrong with this one? This logo was fine. It was perfect, in fact. The logo was shaped like a bee. The perfect way to show off the channel. Perfect way to spell it out. It was actually shaped like a boomerang. And I just really like that blue color. It just worked rather well. Although I prefer red over blue, as a matter of fact, I just prefer white or gray or black over any color overall. I just really like that blue feel to it. It was a perfect logo for the channel. The newer logo is just basically a rehashed version of Cartoon Network's logo, except now it's mostly revolved around Boomerang. I will say that the logo still does look like a boomerang at the bottom, since the cube is in a 3D angle. But it's uneven. I mean, boomerang. I do like that, but it just basically looks the same as the Cartoon Network logo. While Boomerang is supposed to be a sister channel, an almost completely different channel from Cartoon Network. So it really doesn't work and it really looks bad. The original Boomerang logo. Classic, fitted perfectly with what the channel is supposed to be. This newer logo, I like that it looks like a boomerang at the bottom. But I'm not going to come to a channel just to look at its logo. That just signifies that Boomerang is now officially Cartoon Network. Well, let me take that back. Boomerang is now officially CN2, while Boomerang was Cartoon Network 2. Number 3 is replacing the bumpers. The original Boomerang bumpers were classic. 70 to 90s style tin toys that were wind up. Toys of various Hanna-Barbera classics that were aired on TV back when our parents were kids. Grandparents even. Granted, it wasn't anything visually stunning like the powerhouse age of Cartoon Network, the primetime age of Cartoon Network, and certainly not touching the Cartoon Network City style era. It wasn't visually appealing like those eras were, but it was classic. It fitted the criteria what Boomerang was supposed to be. Boomerang was supposed to be a channel where you could watch classic shows created by Hanna-Barbera, MGM, or Cartoon Network that go as far as back as the 40s. The bumpers fitted perfectly with that criteria. They worked rather well, and they fitted perfectly. These new bumpers are just basically the same thing from Cartoon Network's current Check-It era. The Check-It era to me seems like it's all about electronics, flashy effects, and it's trying to be visually stunning. Similar to how kids these days are now obsessed with various devices, Samsung products, Apple products, tablets, iPhones, and Android phones. While those things are useful to use in school and fun to use, it just doesn't work with Boomerang. With CN getting older and more technologically advanced, yes, I can understand the bumpers for that channel, but for a channel that's meant to be classic, like Boomerang, that's supposed to show old-time shows, it's not going to fly in this dojo. I'll take that back. It's not going to fly that high in the sky here. It just looks extremely out of place, extremely pretentious, and really shows that CN has no creativity whatsoever now. They have to turn the sister channel of CN into a second version of CN. It's not at all helpful, it just causes a huge flaw and pisses off a group of people. Primarily people who made you what you are today. Problem number 4 created from Boomerang's rebranding, and that is replacing the Boomerang theater bumpers. This pretty much goes into what I just said a few minutes ago about the bumpers. The bumpers were classic and perfect for what Boomerang was originally supposed to be. 10 toys that look like snacks you would buy at a movie theater. Popcorn, soda, a hot dog, even though I really don't know why you would buy a hot dog in a movie, but that's besides the point. These 10 toys going to a movie theater fit it perfectly. They're pretty much going to work. And you're in to watch a classic movie. The movie could range from a classic Scooby-Doo movie into Teen Titans Go to Tokyo, a classic Pokemon movie, or really any movie on the weekend mornings. Well, today just basically what I just said. A modernized cartoon will see in Check-It era theater promo bumpers that pretty much air movies almost every day. The date I'm recording this is April 24th, and all week, movies have been aired on CN. If I want to watch a bad Scooby-Doo movie, I can go to CN, but then again, I still wouldn't do that because my eyesight is already bad enough as it is. I don't want to make it any worse. You could say this is pretty much the same thing as Boomerang has done in the past, but it's executed poorly and it's just not very well handled. And being forced to listen to that little kid's voice isn't helping either.
Ticket and take a seat. It's Boomerang Theater. All the things you love. We have movies with monsters. Movies with high-flying adventure.
Okay, we get the point.
Movies that are action-packed. And of course...
Shut the hell up!
Alright, number 5. The removal of the Boomer royalty block. Now, one of the problems I have with CN and this current Boomerang is they're constantly airing the same shows over and over again. Right now, Boomerang's current schedule consists of nothing but airing the Garfield Show, the Amazing World of Gumball, Teen Titans Go, and the Tom and Jerry Show multiple times throughout the day. CN is really no better because they do the same thing. And that's a huge problem, because back in the times of classic Boomerang and classic Cartoon Network, they didn't have that problem because what made Cartoon Network the channel above all when it came to animation, and Boomerang the classic channel above all when it comes to being a sister channel of a mainstream network like Cartoon Network, was how diverse they were. Both channels had a huge pool of shows that could be aired on TV and still get his fair share of screen time. Sure, that show would be aired for maybe an hour and a half at the most, but you had shows that would be equally as good that would be played throughout the week in that show's place. The viewer wouldn't be overloaded, and you eventually wouldn't get tired of seeing it. But then again, I never got tired of seeing any show from my childhood. Marathons will be played, but only for a special occasion. That's where the Boomer royalty block comes in for Boomerang. Boomer royalty was when a certain character from a cartoon will be picked as a star that month, and every weekend, the show that co-starred or starred the king or queen that month will be played in a marathon on the weekends throughout the month. You love Betty from the Flintstones? Well, congratulations. You get a marathon of the Flintstones on the weekends throughout the month. The same with Popeye. The same with Jerry Mouse. The same with Courage. Every show gets marathon, and most of those shows that were picked were shows that will be aired at bad times when the viewer will probably be asleep. So if you're a fan of that show, you still get a chance to see your favorite show or one of your favorite shows throughout the month. Another problem is the background music. The background music we have today is just so generic. It basically sounds like a default background music that you can have on just about anything. Even my tablet has default music. While Boomerang had catchy background theme music. So tell me, what sounds better? this... Or does this sound better? Well, you be a judge of that. Problem number 7 is one of the biggest problems, and that's no more Groovies. Now, I just made a video of my top 10 favorite Groovies of Cartoon Network, so I shouldn't have to explain what it is, but for those who didn't see it, Groovies were short little music videos that would focus on a certain character or multiple characters. This one you see in the background is my favorite, the classic Walking Around in Circles, which starred various classic characters from Hanna-Barbera animated shows such as Top Cat, The Flintstones, Secret Squirrel, Adam Ant, and Quick Draw McGraw, all walking around being stuck in a loop. The grooves were fun to watch, and the songs were all catchy, but we don't have that anymore, and that's a huge problem. Problem number 8 being no more Shorties. Now, Shorties were short clips of a certain cartoon character, primarily a Hanna-Barbera classic, on some wacky antic that had nothing to do with their respective show. What made me love these is, even when the show I'm watching is on commercial break, I can still watch a classic show. Granted, it won't be the actual show, but just to see this character or certain characters in a short animated skit doing what they do best, that was always a good experience. Now, we don't have that. And that's just doing nothing but taking away from what Boomerang was supposed to be. Problem number 9 is removing my favorite block of Boomerang, and that was Boomeraction. Boomeraction was a block on Boomerang, as you guessed, dedicated to action or adventure-based shows. Shows like Teen Titans, The Justice League, Samurai Jack, Johnny Quest, or Ben 10 if you were into that show. Some of the best action-based shows aired on Cartoon Network that were no longer on Cartoon Network will be aired during the Boomeraction block of Cartoon Network. And now that is gone. This is basically Boomerang's version of Toonami, but on a daily basis. And now that's gone. The closest thing to any of those shows you have is Teen Titans Go, and Teen Titans Go is one of the worst shows Cartoon Network has put out yet. Action shows on Cartoon Network is one of the reasons why, for me, they beat out Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon mostly relied on comedy. Cartoon Network, being the first channel they were, didn't have to rely on that. Sure, comedy is good, who doesn't like to laugh, but with action-based shows and other types of genres, you can't lose with that, but now, that is gone from Boomerang. Alright, and the last problem. Now I saved the very best for last, but my biggest problem is that with this rebrand, they have completely missed the f***ing point of what Boomerang is supposed to be. Boomerang is supposed to be a channel dedicated to showing classic Hanna-Barbera or classic MGM or classic Cartoon Network shows that made Cartoon Network and later Boomerang what they were. Them airing shows like Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, Teen Titans Go, The Garfield Show, those shows had nothing to do with how great Cartoon Network or Boomerang was. In fact, for me, those are some of the worst shows ever to be created by Cartoon Network, and it's doing nothing but dragging the channel down even further than what it already is. You completely missed the point. The slogan was, "It's all coming back to you for a reason." Classic shows that are no longer aired in place of newer shows that had to be made to give a newer generation of kids something to watch are coming back to you on this channel. That is completely gone. Blocks like Boomer Royalty, Boomeraction, The Groovies, The Shorties, granted they tried to emulate that with Wedgies, but it didn't work. All of that is gone now. And these are some of the biggest, these are the biggest problems that this rebranding has brought to Boomerang. Boomerang now is basically a CN2. Now, there is nothing that can be done to redeem either CN or Boomerang. What should be done is just make a whole new channel, call it Classic Cartoon Network. That way, shows that were aired on Cartoon Network from 1992 up until about maybe 2006, 2007, those shows can be put on that channel. Keep anything on CNN or Boomerang as far away from that channel as humanly possible, and everyone will be happy. One wins. Well, those have been, in my opinion, the biggest mistakes of Boomerang, and thanks to this rebranding, are now into fruition. I am Gary, or the Shape H31. Stay gold, everyone. Pound it.